Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to another video. Today on this channel is going to be my first video on my bike right here. It's a specialized pitch, 27.5, and honestly that's about it. And what we're going to be fixing here is my shifting on my rear derailleur, because I kind of let this get quite out of hand with the shift cable and housing, and that's what we're going to be replacing today. And to do that, we're going to be using this Jaguar Pro shift cable kit. So the thing is, with my bike, and like a lot of bikes especially, they use Shimano cables. And the thing about Shimano is that it's really expensive, and a lot of people just don't want to spend that much money on a shift cable or housing. So that's why we have Jaguar here. It's a really good, trusted brand, and it makes really good quality shift and housing, shift cable and housing that you could use for your mountain bike, your road bike, anything. So in this kit, we have let me take it out and show you. We have some shift cable housing right here, and 2 sets of cables and 2 sets of housing. And also, what you might have seen with this kit is that right here, it has a lot of these housing ends, and it really does give you a lot for what you're paying. And for this, including like taxes and shipping, that's like around $30 US. And for like 1 set of housing and cables from Shimano was like $40. So this is a way better deal. And as you can probably see, I have this in blue for my housing. And the cool thing about Jaguar is they have a massive array of colors that you could choose from. And it's really cool because it can help you personalize your bike. As you can see, I'm going with the blue theme here with some grips and the accents on my bike, so I think this is gonna work out well. So let's get into it. Okay guys, so here's my bike right here. You know, it looks pretty nice, but then once you come up to here, don't mind these messy cables. When I got it from the bike shop, it was like this. This is how the cables were routed. I'm gonna try fixing this up, but I really don't want to have to either bleed my brakes because I have hydraulics, or do any of that stuff, because I don't know. I just want this to be a little bit neater. So if you take a look over here, here is my rear derailleur shifter, and if you follow this line all the way down, let me move my bike a little bit. You can see that right over there, there's a nice gouge into the shift cable housing. So now usually, at first when I saw this, it was not this color. It was like completely like this white outer layer. And I avoided doing it for so long that these are the inner strands of the housing itself. And that's what's currently rusting and making my shifting so terrible. So now that you've seen that, I have to go through the effort of changing out both the shift cable and housing. So now that we know what we're working with, let's just get into the install. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do when you're setting up your bike to do this replacement is that you're going to want to just take your chain down to the smallest gear. So it's going to be your highest gear. And you're going to want to do that because up here in the shifter, when you're taking out the cable, it'll come out completely straight, and it won't get like jumbled up in the shifter. So let's go ahead and do that. I don't have a bike stand here, so I'm just gonna have to do it like this, which I mean, a lot of you guys guys out there are probably dealing with the same kind of thing. And that's because you don't have the money for a bike stand, because those things are very expensive. But don't worry, because soon enough I'm gonna have a video of fixing that, and you'll have to stay tuned. Fixing that, making a bike stand for I think around $20. So yeah, it's gonna help out a lot for these future repairs on this bike. So now that we've done that, let's get taking out this cable. So I'm just gonna explain this to you and how my shifting, how it was bad to make me know that it was this shifting cable. So the thing is, when I was in these lower gears, it was quite fine. But as soon as I started like going higher and higher, especially on this first gear right here, it made these clicking noises like all the time. And I found that when I tightened this barrel adjuster, it went away. And that was because of how much slack there was in this cable. So I messed around with my cable quite a lot, but it couldn't make up for the friction that was happening from that point right there. So that's how I just knew, also with that visual aid, I figured out that as the chain was coming up, my shifting got progressively worse, and I kept having to use this barrel adjuster. Okay, don't make the same mistakes I did. This barrel adjuster looks terrible now, and it's all because I made a really noob move and didn't check my shifting cable to see if it was okay. So don't make that same mistake. Keep on top of your drivetrain and do some easy maintenance so that you could avoid anything like this. So let's get to taking off this cable and housing and putting on the new one. Hey, what's up guys? We're back. And as you see here, I have my bike upside down. It's pretty easy to get it like this, and it's probably pretty well known that this is a great way to work on your bike when you don't have a bike stand. But I'm doing it right here because I have really good access to these zip ties so that I could release this cable. And since I have internal routing, it goes through the down tube right here and it comes out right there. So we're just gonna have to take off these two little points right here and we'll be good. We'll be able to take off this and then get our new cable and housing in. Okay, now for taking off these zip ties, I'm gonna be using the pruning shears because they don't really have like a sharp end to them, so I can't really like mess up my paint. So I'm just gonna come right here, and here I think I'm just gonna go for like the head of the zip tie, just tucked back over here. There we go, easy cut. And then we're just gonna take out this little zip tie. I'm just gonna leave that over there and go on to this next zip tie. Go from up here, trying to avoid the chain and the tire. Here, you know what? We're just gonna go to this side and just cut it like that. See, nice and easy with these pruning shears. Okay, just like that. And now that we've done that, our cable is free and clear, so now it's just wiggling around here. So we're gonna have to do some stuff with that. Okay, here. Just to explain this right here, this is just a really like a DIY chain guide that I made. I don't know, I need to make some changes to it, and once I get it running really well, I'm gonna put it back on the bike and have a step-by-step tutorial for you guys on how you can make this chain guide for pretty much free. But for now, it's kind of in the way of my cables. So I'm just gonna clip that right there. Take this off. Oh yeah, I forgot. It's looped around the chain like that. So give me 1 sec while I get this off, and I'll catch back up with you when I've taken off a little bit more of the cable housing. Okay guys, now what you're gonna wanna do is we're gonna have to take off this cable and take it off from this whole housing, which is from the derailleur. So we're gonna take some needle nose pliers, and we gotta knock off this end cap right here. So what I found works really well is you kind of like just lightly sandwich these pliers right in there, and if you give it a hard enough tug. Here, let me just put down the camera real quick. If you just hold on to the cable. Okay guys, that totally didn't work, but sometimes you can do that. Oftentimes it's just way too tight. So what I'm just gonna do is take these pruning shears and just cut this right off. If I can. To say for our little test right here, these are not very good for cables. So we're just gonna use these this sharp end on the needle nose pliers and try and just cut this cable with any degree of accuracy here. Here, I'll get back to you once we've gotten this off. Okay guys, I didn't manage to cut this cable, but I did manage to get off the end cap with a slight amount of difficulty, as you can probably see. But now we're just gonna take our 5mm Allen wrench right here and just undo this clamp right here, which clamps on the cable. This is what's gonna just release it like that. So we're just gonna tug this straight out of there. So this mechanism right here, this is pretty much what the barrel adjuster is, just on this side of the derailleur. And I'm pretty sure this isn't really necessary. It's just an added touch. I'll keep all the hardware and stuff, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna add this with the new housing. Okay, wait, I'm just gotta get this in focus. Okay, there we go. You could get a nice look right there. But for now, we're just gonna have to deal with this internal routing, and I'll let you know what we do to make this really easy for any bike, any frame, to put on cable and housing without fishing around inside your down tube. So let's get to that. Guys, now that we're done with that, we're gonna wanna take this side of the cable out of this shifter housing. See, I don't know how many bikes have this, but my brake lever and brake and shift levers on both sides, they're combined. So there's only one clamp right here. And it's kind of annoying, but kind of just have to deal with it until I upgrade.
Alright guys, quick note as I'm editing this. This is my first time doing this whole shift cable and housing install on my bike, and I experienced a lot of problems throughout the whole thing. But what I'm just basically gonna try and do is cut through all of that, because there's a lot of time wasted, and just go straight to how I made it work and how it can hopefully work well for you guys if you're looking to do this install. Alright, back to the video.
Guys, another problem I'm running into. See, all this maintenance, it's a lot of trial and error. But see, on this end of the cable right here, we had this little end piece, which puts it into the shifter. But the problem was, this was getting caught on this internal routing right here. Because I don't know about other bikes, but with my bike, these are some really thin holes in the frame, and you can't really fit this around the cable all the way through. So I just snipped it off with those gardening shears, and let's just pull the rest of this housing off. Okay guys, with a great degree of difficulty, you guys are going to be able to do this way better with the tips I give you, but I have finally gotten all of the cable housing out of the bike, and now you might be able to see the concept that we're going with here. See, this cable is completely routed through the down tube here.
Okay, I just wanted to explain a little bit of my thought process with this whole concept thing with the internal routing. Okay, by keeping the old shift cable still inside the frame where it was routed, then you could feed the new shift cable housing right through that same way, and it would just fit in right where your routing was originally. This would make it really easy to transfer it over, and that's what I was going for here. You'll see later on why that didn't work.
So with that said, we're gonna take off the foam here on top of this housing, and we're gonna use this on our new housing that we have to use. So I'll show you how to install that when we put on our new housing. Nothing is working to really cut this housing.
Okay guys, to speed through what was a few days of just waiting for me, I ended up having to resort to getting the Park Tool cable cutters, which you're going to see me use later on in the video, and they worked perfectly. Obviously, it's Park Tool. They cost $37, which I know is pretty expensive for a lot of people. I just got it off Amazon to get it shipped quickly. There's also some other good brands out there, such as Pedro's. They make a really good cable cutter, but I just wanted to make sure it worked. I got the Park Tool one, and that's what you're gonna see me use. And let's get on to the rest of the install. Just another quick note here. This up on the screen, this is my friend Will. He's just gonna be helping me out with filming in this the last half of this video. So back to that. Alright guys, before I get into showing you exactly how I installed this, I just wanted to include this little montage of all the work that I did and the trial and error that went into making up this final method of putting in the shift cable and housing.
Alright guys, we're back. I finally gotten ready. Here's this very long bit of housing. What is this man's doing? He's mowing his lawn. Doesn't he know my 2 subscribers are more important? This is what I gotta deal with here, guys.
So while we're having our brief intermission here, I would like to thank our sponsor, Squarespace. Because how can you make a website if it's not with Squarespace?
We had some technical difficulties. This is not going to work on my bike just because of how the internal routing is. So I have a different plan.
Alright guys, we're back here. We had some technical difficulties.
Stop wasting my battery.
So this guy said that how do you turn this
That's how
around?
it works for like
What the
every
heck?
single other bike.
Alright,
My
well I'll
bike-
cut this really
Alright guys, with that out of the way, let's get back to the rest of the install.
If you see these 2 bolts up here, it's this really small like Phillips head screw, And just make sure you don't round these out. Make sure it fits in there and it fits in there good, because that's just going to be a hassle if you round these out. Okay, there we go. Just make sure you don't lose these very tiny screws. I have a nice magnetic dish right down there. Works great. I don't know, it was like $5 at Harbor Freight. Not sponsored. There we go. So now that we've got this out, okay, there we go. You want to be kind of careful with this, because what you're going to do is take this front cover and it'll lift right off. Okay, so now this is what the inside of your shifter looks like. What you're going to want to do is kind of put a little bit of pressure on that cable right there and just pop this barrel out of its little housing. Oh, there we go. See, finally got it right there. And now, you just give this a little tug, and that is out of there. So now that we have this out, what I'm planning to do is just yank this cable out, honestly. See, this is our old cable. You just throw this out. There's not really much use for it. You done? Mm-hmm. Okay, guys, so we finally got this through. Didn't honestly take that long. Got some help from my friend behind the curtain right here. But here, let me just show you guys this real quick. So I don't know how well you guys can see this, but this right here, this was bolted down in 2 places, and this is the shift cable for the front derailleur. So I just unbolted this and then started wiggling it around, and we got the shift cable to come through.
Alright guys, at this point in the video, the clips get way too confusing, and I really don't want to spend more time making this video any longer. So I'm just gonna leave this, whatever clip is playing right now, and just talk you through the rest of this install. So basically what I did is I took the old housing and I butted it up against the new housing and just taped them together with a really thin, I think it was packing tape, right? So then, like with this whole setup, I could feed in the old cable and that would pull through the new cable, and it would have it routed on the right side of the down tube so that it came out on the right end. So this is mainly just a problem with my bike, because like the routing, especially with the front derailleur cable, it's really annoying. Everything gets in the way under the down tube. But overall, this is what I had to do. I had to use that old cable because it had a little kink in it, and that was like the bend inside of the down tubes. So with like the new one that's completely straight, there was no way I was going to be able to get that down into the place that I wanted it to, so that it was routed the same way. So that's basically it. That's what I ended up doing, and then I just put the new cable all the way through. I lubed it with some just basic chain oil. You could use that for pretty much anything. If you lube that up, your gears will run nice and smooth. I put it all through, put some zip ties on it to hold it under the frame, and tightened it up over at the derailleur. And that's about it for this video. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Hi guys, it's Will here, and we'd like to thank our sponsor, Chlor Blocks. There's never before in history been a better playing and building material specialized for your kids that can also clean your clothes. So again, please go down in the link below and click on chlorblocks.com/Leo Kennedy, so that not only you get a 15% discount on your next Chlorblocks order, but also we get a little commission. So thank you.